We're going to do good signs.
Okay, so if you can all mute yourselves then, please. And if you want to ask questions, I'll take it on the chat line, or you can unmute yourself and just ask Gillian as she goes. So Gillian, if you want to take the screen.
No worries.
Keep it doing this, darling, and we'll catch up in a minute.
Cool, brilliant. Okay. So guys, hopefully you can see that screen. Hold on one second, let me get it right. So can you see that first slide? I think you can see 1.5 slides, but I'm sure you'll forgive me for that.
Yeah, we can see that.
Perfect, brilliant. Okay, let me just get that right. Hold on. Brilliant. Okay, well, thank you for having me here to start with, guys. I really appreciate it. I am, as I said, I am Scouse. I'll probably talk really, really quickly, but feel free to ask questions as you go along, because I'm here to share with you the joy I get from this genre. It absolutely fills me with joy, this genre. I love it. I absolutely love it. So I'm here to show you my experiences of what brand photography is, what a shoot looks like, how you can get into it, how you can make money from it, and why I think this particular genre is going to be really helpful in helping us get through this time of crisis. I mean, I'm taking bookings right now, so I think it's one of those genres that's maybe going to be less affected than the others, but I'll explain why as I go along. I have got my notes, so if I'm looking down, it's because I'm looking at the notes. I do get carried away chatting to you, so sometimes I forget to tell you what I'm supposed to tell you. Okay, so as I said, take lots of notes. Feel free to ask me any questions. I am an open book. I'll tell you anything that I know. I don't know everything, but I have been working in this genre for 3 of my 15 years now, so I love it and I want to share it with you. I do have a 5-day challenge running in July. I've just finished one and I'm running another one in July. So if you want to come on board that, it's completely free and it's just 5 days of training all about brand photography. Okay, so who am I? I've been a photographer for 15 years. So that's probably a small amount of time compared to the experience that you guys have got. I started off in weddings. I learned from my then father-in-law. He'd been in it about 45 years. So started in weddings, moved into families, babies. I was a newborn specialist. And then I moved into brand photography. And now I am solely brand photography. I started the Rich Photographers Society. I use the word rich because for me that word is all about being rich in life, in happiness, as well as in business and money. Being rich in life for me is just being happy and content and fulfilling your life, filling it with joy and whatever fills you with joy. So I started the Rich Photographers Society quite a few years ago. That is a free Facebook group for photographers where I help them with business and marketing. And I also started the Rich Tog Academy, which is a business school for photographers, training programs and mentoring programs. I'm also an author. I'm super, super proud about that. I only wrote a chapter in the book, so I didn't write the whole book. But I was in a collaboration with 19 other women, and we all wrote a chapter each. And it's called The Secret Diaries of a Female Entrepreneur. It's all about women in business, the ups and downs of being in business, the challenges of being in business, and individual success stories. So it is quite an inspiring read. All the money that is made from the sale of the book goes to charity. So if you fancy grabbing it, it's on Amazon. So I'd love to know from you guys, you know, I don't know whether you want to unmute yourself. Has anyone here done any brand photography? Has anyone dipped their toe in the genre? Is anyone already working in brand photography? Or is it completely new to you? I don't know whether you want to put in the chat or unmute yourself. I'd love to know.
Yeah, never done it.
Never done it? No,
lots of professional headshots, and sort of extended headshot shoots, but not quite the same as your brand photography.
Cool, yeah. But there is an overlap. I mean, obviously business owners and entrepreneurs need those headshots as well. I mean, it was brand new to me 3 years ago, completely brand new to me. And I went into it overlapping with my newborn photography, but then it quickly became apparent that I absolutely loved this area, and that's exactly what I wanted to do. All the images in this presentation is taken by me, even the ones of me. I set my camera up on the tripod with a timer. It was the right palaver. The ones of me by a pool, I can't tell you how many times I nearly fell in that pool, going backwards and forwards trying to get the settings right. Okay, so why get into it? For me, getting into brand photography was a lot about perfect work-life balance. With my weddings, I was working a lot of weekends. Families, you're working a lot of weekends. You're doing a lot of editing. You're sometimes editing late into the night. And life's too short. So for me, I just wanted to create more perfect work-life balance. So brand photography for me it's a 3-hour weekday shoot. In total, it's probably about 8 to 8.5 hours work, and I'm doing between 4 and 6 shoots a month. So for me, it was all about that perfect work-life balance. It's also where it's a very profitable genre to be in because the majority of the products are digital, so there's high levels of profit. You are pitching to businesses, so it's a less emotional sale. It's a more it's a business sense sale. Businesses, once you've educated them, completely get the value and the benefits of brand photography. So it's not an emotional sale anymore. They're logically making that decision. And also it's a business investment. So I find these people are investing with ease. It's also super creative. So as a photographer, every shoot is different. Every business or brand is different. They've got different sets of brand values, a different story to tell, a different ideal client to attract. So every job I do, you're still getting your creative juices going because it is different. I'm also paid up front, which I absolutely love. Oh, I'm so sorry, go on.
Do you get a written brief with every job then, or do you go out and tell them the photos they should have?
It's a bit of a mix. So from the moment I book someone, there is a design process that you go through with your client to design the shoot. So by the time you're doing the shoot, you do have a very robust plan. We're going to do this for half an hour in this outfit, in this location. These are the shots we're going to do. Then we're going to do this for an hour. So there is a process where we're designing the shoot together. Because some clients will know exactly what they want. They'll know their brand inside out. Other clients won't, so they need a little bit of an extra helping hand, and you're there to guide them and give them ideas.
Do you have them with the know what their brand should be, or do you get them from all ends?
Or most of the jobs I'm doing now are with. When I started, I worked with a lot of different companies and different brands and business owners. Now I've niched into female online entrepreneurs, and they tend to know their brand. But some people I've worked with have gone, what are brand values? They just come to me because they know they need images for their social media or their website. So there sometimes is an educational process. But that, to be honest, is part of the joy. I'm helping this business owner understand exactly what brand is. I'm giving them the tools they need to start formulating their brand story, their brand mission. And then I'm creating a beautiful portfolio of images for them to elevate their brand.
Would you still be able to do as many if everybody came to you like that?
Yeah, definitely. Because by the time I've educated them, it's funny, they get even more excited because, oh gosh, I didn't think about that. Oh, right. Oh, yeah. So it's even more exciting, to be honest. So yes, definitely.
Thank you.
I think the variety of images, for me, there is a likeness between wedding photography and brand photography. That's where I feel I'm going back to my skills as a wedding photographer, because as a wedding photographer, you're telling a story of the moment of the day. And also as a wedding photographer, you are used to working within quick time frames, right? I've got half an hour before the ceremony. I've got to do this, this and this. I'm going to different angles. You know, you have the bride and groom for an hour before they go and sit down. So you have to create a gorgeous portfolio of images for them from lots of different angles, lots of different scenes. So that speed of working as a wedding photographer and that storytelling as a wedding photographer, I feel those are the skills I've used most in brand photography. Okay, so that's the next one. So what is it? So it's basically providing for the client a portfolio of images that perfectly represent their brand, their brand story, their brand values, their brand mission. It's basically giving them a set of images that perfectly represent them in business, them as a brand, and showcase who they are and what they want to serve to the world. So it is really, really creative. What we do with the client is, the client can be anyone who wants to sell their stuff, who has a service or a product to sell, but they need visuals in order to sell themselves online and offline. Their marketing needs might be online, but they also might be offline with leaflets and brochures. These clients, like us, running a business is hard, especially when you're a one-man band. So they've got a to-do list as long as they're on. They're up against it on time. They're stressed. They're trying to get more clients. They're trying to get more bookings. They're trying to make more money. They're trying to grow their business. And this is where we can help by giving them a beautiful bank of images that they can utilize across all their online marketing needs and also their offline marketing needs, their paper needs. They're going to feel more confident. They're going to feel more professional. They're going to showcase themselves, their brand, their product, their service more eloquently. It's going to save them time. Lots of times I'm hearing from these business owners, oh, the scrabble to find something to post every day, I'm feeling that pressure. Well, I'm giving them a bank of images that they can just pull from every day. It's giving them, it's taking away their stress, it's saving them time, it's getting them more visible, and it's going to get them more clients and sales. And as I said, time and time again, I hear that, Jill, I feel so much more confident now I've got these images. I feel so much more professional in my business. And that's just wonderful to provide that service as well as a photography service. You're elevating that person's feelings of self-worth and confidence in their business. So who is the client? Basically, the client is anyone who's got something to sell, whether it's a product or a service, or they just want to showcase their brand. So anyone that needs to show up. They can be local businesses and brands, national, international. You can work with established businesses or brands. You can work with startups. I'm working with a lot of new startups. And you'd sometimes think, oh, well, new startups won't have the money to invest. But they do, they absolutely do if you educate them and talk to them about the benefits of what you're able to provide for them. You know, a new business needs visuals to promote itself. It's a need, it's not a luxury, it's a necessity. So they need our services. So this is the beauty of working for yourself. I mean, I love working for myself, but I can design my business to be exactly what I want. So if I want to stay local, I will target local brands and businesses. I like traveling, so I've started targeting female online entrepreneurs, mainly in the Spain region, whether that's they live in Spain, they work in Spain, or I've even had clients that are based in the UK. And when we're designing their shoot, they've decided they want that beachy, sunshiny feel. So we all fly to Spain. I mean, if I can get anyone in Spain, that's just brilliant because I love traveling. Okay, so what does a shoot look like? So from the moment of booking, we are designing the shoot with the client, and it's very bespoke and it's very personal to them and their brand. So we're exploring their brand values, their product, their service, what they want to showcase to their ideal client. Who is their ideal client? Who are they trying to sell to? Who are they trying to attract? So we then decide on themes or categories or stories that they want to showcase, whether that's them as a person, as a brand. They are the face of their brand. That's them in their workplace, them with their friends and family, them with their team, them doing the things they love in their spare time. So we work on themes and stories, and we also concentrate on the requirements that that particular client has. What do they need the images for? Is it all social media? Is it for printed materials? Is it they're updating their website? And that's where obviously requirements on size and shape of images come into play. If a client wants social media images and they work specifically on Facebook, I'm going to have to make sure I do a lot of panoramics for their cover image. If they're mainly on Instagram, then I'm going to have to make sure that a lot of their images are okay in squares, because that's what Instagram is. So it's a very bespoke process, understanding exactly what stories and themes this client wants to work to, what their brand is, who they want to attract, what they want to showcase, but what they're going to be using those images for.
Yeah, sorry, do we have different price structures for if they just want for Facebook or for publishing or anything like that?
Yeah, I've got all the prices. I'm going to go over the prices with, but no, I don't alter the prices on what they're using them for. I charge it by time, so I have a 1 hour, a 3 hour, or a year-long package, which I'll go over all those prices with you. But it doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't matter to me what they're using the images for. It matters so I can design the shoot, but for pricing purposes, no, they're paying for my time. So they could have me doing headshots for 3 hours and I would charge them the same as a brand shoot for 3 hours because that's still my time. I do have a lot of clients come to me sometimes that just say, oh, well, I just need a few headshots. But by the time I've had a consultation with them and I've educated them to the value and the benefits of having a full brand shoot, they will book a full brand shoot. This particular client, she is an accountant based in Denia in Spain. She was introduced to me by someone else I know in Spain, and she literally came on and said, I think I'll just need half an hour. I just want a few headshots. So on talking to her about the benefits of a full brand shoot, she then said, yeah, let's do it. Let's book a full brand shoot. So she booked me for a 3 hour brand shoot, and she flew me over to Spain to do that. And she was a joy to work with. She was lovely. Okay, so we talked about categories, stories, themes that we work in a brand shoot. And there's so many of those, but the crucial 3 for me, I will go over with you here. So number 1, you are the face of your brand, I say to my client. It's all about them. People need to get to know, like, and trust you before they will book you or your services or buy from you or invest in you. So showcasing that the client as a person is super, super important. And it's almost a combination of portraiture, lifestyle portraiture, headshots, but it's showcasing that person in a really authentic way. They are the face of their brand. So, very natural style imagery, showcasing them however they want to be seen. Also showcasing them doing the things they love to do, as well as in a work sort of environment. That lady at the top, she loved her artwork, so we showcased her talking about her artwork. The lady at the bottom loved going shopping, she loved doing her yoga. The other lady, she was a nutrition expert, and she did love generally to be in the kitchen. So it's about showcasing that person authentically, what they love to do and how they love to spend their time. So the person is my number 1 theme. Again, some more shots here. This is an NLP practitioner, and also the gentleman is a plant-based nutritionist. They're both based out in Spain. It was boiling hot. Sounds so glamorous when you say, oh, I'm going to Spain on a brand shoot, but it's so knackering because of the heat. And I literally look like a drowned rat by the end of the shoot because I'm like this. Theme number 2 for me of the crucial 3 is the client's work, their product or their service, whatever they're selling. This lady is an online business coach. So obviously we wanted to showcase her working with her laptop, working online, and then she was actually in a hotel lobby waiting for her client, and we did some shots of it with her client as well. This gentleman, as I said, is a plant-based nutritionist, so we're showcasing him with his product, which is how to create healthy food using plant-based ingredients. Same again. That was the best shoot. I have never eaten so well in all my life. I actually stayed with that client on that shoot because his wife was the NLP practitioner. So we did her shoot one day, his shoot the next day. But my God, I've never eaten so well. You sometimes think that plant-based eating is going to be boring. Oh my God, it's not. I literally just want to go back and move in with them because it was gorgeous. This lady's a crystal healer, so she works online, and then she also does in-person crystal healing sessions. So that's her work, that's her product and service. And then crucial element number 3, this is my number 3 theme, it's just all the details and the props. These are sort of Instagrammy type of images, but it's the details that are going to be almost like filler images, like generic stock images, but they're not generic. They are specific to that person's brand, whether it's introducing their brand colour, such as here, introducing their brand messages. This lady was a social media strategist. So we'd done all the shots of her working online, working on a laptop, working with clients. And these were just beautiful, very feminine. Her brand is very, very feminine, very girly. Using her brand colours, or just doing all these lovely detail shots that she can use as filler images on her website, on her social media. She provides, the clients always provide all the details and the props, but with my guidance. So I talk to the clients about, as I said, this client's brand is very feminine. So I talked about, well, what about getting some flowers in? A little tip or trick or hack is, her brand colour is obviously pink, and we wanted to do some flat lays, such as the Crushing It image. That's a flat lay shooting down on just some beautiful detail. And the background, I advised her to go to B&Q and just go and steal some wallpaper samples in her brand colours. It's just a little hack, it's just a little idea, but it works really brilliantly to help you inject some colour, brand colour of that client into your images. So the shot with the glasses and the mugs, obviously she's part of the brief was I want to show celebration when I get a particular success for one of my clients. So she's showing, you know, cheersing with champagne glasses. But her husband is actually holding up that pink rose paper behind them. So it's just little details like that. It doesn't have to be difficult. That's just all. And then, as I said, I'm advising her to get the props. It's never my responsibility to get the detail and props. Part of the design process is guiding her on things I think could be useful for the shoot, but then it's up to her to actually secure those. Again, details and props. As you can see, this lady's brand was blue, her brand colours were blue, and she is an app designer. So we used obviously lots of technology like her phone, her laptop. Also, what I tend to try and do is take some shots where there is blank space. So for instance, on the phone, I provided her with those images, but then I actually provided her with the images with the phone, the black screen of the phone put in white with some blue writing on it with some marketing messages. So if you provide images with some blank screen space, they can put some marketing images on there. Marketing messages meant, sorry, not marketing images. And then again, just props and detail. This lady was an English language mentor. She helps people in business where English is their second language and they feel they need to improve their English language to either travel or get jobs or further their business. So, and she works a lot with women. So she is an English mentor for women in business. So again, just detail. It was all about travel, the passport. I sent her the link for those little booklets with the world on. Again, I like getting involved. I don't want to have to film a case, especially when I'm traveling abroad with loads of props, but I will help the client look for little details and little props that are going to help in the shoot. It's part of the process. And then the image with her shoe on the language and the traveling books, that was all empowering women to feel more confident in travel. So by improving their English language skills, they feel more confident in their travel. And that was an image she found on Pinterest and she just wanted us to recreate. Details and props again, whether it's books, your morning coffee, your morning tea, you're traveling, you're a painter. It's just all the little details that are going to increase the variety of the bank of images that I create for my clients. Equipment, I tend to be quite minimal. If I'm traveling up and down the UK, sometimes I'll throw my quadras in the car, or I'll throw some continuous lighting or some studio lighting in the car. If it's in this country and I tend to drive, I'll just chuck all my stuff in the car. But if I'm traveling abroad, I will literally just have one flash gun, an LED panel light, and if I've managed to squeeze my reflector in, that's what I do. So most of my shots are actually natural light now. But you can design your brand shoots to be exactly what you want them to be. If you love using off-camera flash, if you love using studio lighting, then your brand shoots can follow your style of photography, and your clients will love that style and be guided by that style. So pricing, I price by time. So my 1 hour shoot is $9.95 for a 1 hour midweek shoot, and they get 40 high resolution images. My 3 hour shoot, which is what I want to drive most people to, so I make it better value. So my 3 hour shoot is $1,495, and that gives them 150 images minimum. It gives them a selection of graphics. By graphics, I literally just mean I've done some designs in Canva where I've used a couple of their images, I've used their brand colours, I've put their logo on, and then I've put a marketing message on that is useful for them and their brand. For instance, I have a technical virtual assistant who is a client, and she helps women where tech frightens them. She helps people in business where tech is frightening. So we did a shoot where she's like that on in front of a laptop, and the graphic I provided to her was that image, and the message was, does tech frighten you? Then let me help you. Because that's a marketing message that's going to speak to her ideal client. So that's what I mean by graphics. And then I also provide in that 3 hour package a couple of show reels. By show reels, I just mean slideshows. So I'm using Animoto and I'm putting a slideshow together with that client's images, their brand messages, their logo and their colours. And that's something they can embed in their website or use on their social media. So that's my 3 hour package, 1,495. And then my year-long package is 4 4-hour shoots spread over the year, however they want to spread them, and that is £6,000. So what I find is most people are, if they're coming to me new, I will drive them towards the 3 hour package. They'll book that, and then as they've had that shoot and they've loved the results, they will then grow to the year-long package. Does that make sense, guys? Any other questions on pricing? We're all right.
With your year long, Gillian, how many individual shoots would you expect to have to do in a year?
4 shoots in the year. Each shoot would be 4 hours long, and each shoot gives the client 200 minimum images. And I am trigger happy and I work really quickly. I think, again, because I've come from a wedding photography background, that's how I started. So I'm used to working quickly and working to timelines. So I don't go over my 3 hours. Well, I might do by 15 minutes, but I know sometimes it's hard to think, oh, can you really cram all that into 3 hours? But I think if you get your planning done up front, and you know exactly what you're doing, you've planned everything to the nth degree. Like with Hazel's, we knew we were doing an hour in her office, then we were going to a little square outside her office, and then we were going to do some shots in the street with just her. So we had it down, the plan down to an nth degree. You know, you've got 5 minutes to get changed. We've got an hour just for the group shots, and you can get it done if you do your planning. You can get it done all quite quickly.
So Gillian, what's the sort of minimum you would charge them for doing a shoot abroad? You're not going to go abroad for £1,000, are you?
So 3 hour shoot is what I would charge for going abroad. So they would book a 3 hour shoot, which is 1,495. They pay for my transfers this end and that end. They pay for my accommodation if it's needed. But generally, I mean, I did a shoot in Malaga, and I flew in on the morning. Obviously, the flights are paid for. Flew in on the morning. It's only a 3 hour shoot, so I did the shoot and I flew home that night. So it's not, if I've got a couple of shoots, I will try and guide the client. So if I have a couple of inquiries from the same area, I will guide them to similar dates. So I'll say, well, I'm actually in that area on this date or this date. So last year I had 4 shoots in the Costa del Sol area. So, and I actually, the couple at the bottom here, Joe and Tim, they've become friends now. So I stayed with them, and I did one shoot one day. So I flew in, I think, the Tuesday. I did Tuesday night. I did a shoot on the Wednesday, a shoot on the Thursday, a shoot on the Friday, shoot on the Saturday and then flew home Saturday night. But all of those people have paid for a 3-hour shoot, and so it's worth it for me. Plus, I got well fed when I stayed with them.
Seems to be a theme here about how well you're fed as to
I know, it's great.
Your client.
It's a wonder I'm not the size of a house. Oh dear. I mean, if I've got a job abroad, I will make the decision quite quickly whether I'm happy staying with that client, because you don't want to stay with everyone, do you, at the end of the day? So I did have one shoot where obviously the client paid for my accommodation. They were staying in one place, I stayed in another place. Other times in the inquiry process, I've got to know the client. You get a feel for someone. And this client had their eye on an apartment they wanted to hire in the Costa del Sol for their shoot. And she was saying to me, well, we're going to hire that apartment. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment. Me and Jason, her husband, are going to stay there. That is the area I want to concentrate the shoot on, because the decor of that apartment and the terrace areas were everything we needed for the shoot. So she said, well, it's completely up to you. You can either stay with us in the other bedroom, or I'm happy to obviously pay for a room in the local hotel. And I just made the decision quite quickly. I got a really nice feel from her, so I was happy staying in the apartment with her, which obviously that's going to save her money. And I get well fed again.
Gillian, when you do your animotos, do you do them in terms of specific lengths? Or do you just throw some images in and some marketing messages just to get the feel across to the client?
Yeah, I haven't got a specific length, it's just the feel. So I try, if I do 2 or 3 show reels for them, I'll try and do one that's quite short, maybe 10, 15 seconds, and then one that's a couple more minutes long, and then they've got, and also I do look after my clients. So if they come back to me and say, I love that slideshow, Jill, but I could do with it being a bit longer, I've got absolutely no problem making that adjustment and then getting it over to them. It's part of a premium service. It's part of, looking after your clients.
Do you use, the final question is, do you use that for the yearly one as the top price to push people into the middle? Or have you got another price that you have?
No, they're just the 3 prices. So what I've done is I've designed, the 1 hour doesn't look very good value compared to the 3 hour, because it's a grand and you're only getting 40 images. You may as well go for the 3 hour, which is only 500 quid more, and you're going to get a minimum of 150 images.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
So can I do it? I get asked all the time, oh, I don't know whether I can do this. I had a couple of photographers that are going through my paid mastermind, which is the business of brand photography training program. And I think we all have sometimes those doubts, those feelings of fear, or I don't know whether I can do it. I'm used to studio lighting. I'm used to a controlled environment in a studio, or I'm used to my weddings, or I'm used to my portraiture. I think all I could urge you to do is just, if it's something you want to look at, just give it a go, because we've all got the photography skills, and that's all you need. You need the photography skills, and the rest you can learn as you go along. Get your first couple of brand clients under your belt, have some portfolio shoots, book those in and give it a go and learn from there. I went straight into it alongside my newborn photography. And I learned as I went along. I've never done full brand shoots before, but I learned how I went as along. I learned what worked, what didn't work. And I've now got to a point where it's a really slick process. But from the client's point of view, it's a really beautiful process. They feel looked after. It's a premium service. They're designing their shoot with me. They're really getting involved. They're excited about it. They're looking forward to it. And then they absolutely love the images that I provide for them, and their businesses grow because of my images.
Gillian, sorry, can I ask, do you get paid up front, or do you have any problems when they say, can you invoice us afterwards, or anything like that?
No, I think because I'm working with smaller companies or one-man bands, my terms and conditions are I get paid up front. So I don't have any problem with that at all. I suspect you'd come across issues with that if you were working with bigger brands and companies, that doesn't fit in with the way they work. But I get paid up front, so they will pay a deposit when they book me. Usually it's about 50% of the value of the package, or it might be as low as just 200 quid. Because I've had clients before that have said, I really want to go ahead, I really want to book, but I haven't got the 1,500 quid right now. Can I just pay a small deposit? And I'm happy to work with my client and just say, absolutely, you know, so long as we take a monetary deposit and you're signing the contract, then the balance is due either 2 weeks or 1 week before the shoot. I'm still getting paid up front. I'm not going to do the shoot until I get paid. So I'm happy to be flexible with my clients. But I suspect the bigger companies, you probably, I think with a corporate client I've got, they only pay you afterwards. So yeah, but that's more of a corporate job.
I've found with the businesses that I've worked with that they haven't really known what they wanted. Their requirements are, you're the photographer, you tell me. So my worry would be, I'm not a brand person. I don't know how to create the brand for their product. Yeah. How do I bridge that gap between, because once you've got the idea, you can then use your photography skills to be able to get that.
Yes. So it's talking to the client about, if they say, well, I don't really know, you'd be taught. So for instance, when I did one of my first shoots was with a lady that does, I always do this, it looks like I'm about to put rubber gloves on, the hand casts. You know, the casts for babies' hands, and they do families' hands interlinked, that sort of thing. And she was right at the beginning of building her business. So I'm not a fully fledged brand strategist, that's easy to say, but I've got more knowledge than her. So I'm going to use that knowledge to help her. So I would ask questions such, okay, so tell me about, who is your ideal client? Who are you targeting with your business? Well, I want to target families, and families with babies, and families with children. Okay, so we need to target those people. So we want to showcase you as a family person. You're a mum, we're going to showcase you as a mum. We're going to do some shots of you with your family. We're going to showcase you as a person, because people do need that know, like, and trust before they'll invest in you. So a family coming to you, if they've seen some images of you as a lovely smiley image, a lovely laughy image, and then an image with you and your own kids, that's going to instill a level of trust in them, and they're going to choose you. So that's part of our shoot. Then we need to showcase you in your actual studio doing your work. So we're going to get some pretend clients in, we're going to do some shots. So that's the sort of conversation I'd have with them. So, and they're happy. That's positioning me as the expert. That's them then having know, like, and trust in me, because I'm leading them in designing the shoot. And they absolutely love it. To give them that helping hand is wonderful.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Gillian, can I ask about how you supply the images? Are you supplying them sort of cropped and sized to the sort of formats that they want for perhaps Instagram? Or are you providing them with full-size images that they can crop themselves? And also, you know, things like Facebook and Instagram prefer, or the images are better if they're in sRGB rather than, you know, whatever else. So, you know, clients don't necessarily understand that. So presumably you're having to guide them with all of that as well.
Yeah, so basically I'm providing them with a set of images that are full size, but within that portfolio of images, I've also duplicated. So if I've got an image that I've taken, then they'll get that as a full size. But if this is a client that is mainly using Instagram, I will also have provided them with a crop of that image in a square. Or if they're mainly using Facebook, I've done a crop of an image that is already sized for Facebook. So they'll get a lot of duplicate images on top of the 150 that I've sized correctly for them.
Cool.
And then I do set, and they're still big images, and then I do a second copy of the full set, small, ready for social media for them. Cool. And I provide them, I used to give them to them on a USB, but I just send them over WeTransfer now, because a lot of my clients are in Spain, so the postal system in Spain isn't particularly fabulous. And I want to deliver quickly. Part of the service is when we book a shooting, I will book time into my diary to do the edit and retouch as soon as I can. I like to give my clients their images within a couple of days of their shoot, and that's part of the service. And again, it's just creating a wow. My clients will always say, what, I'm going to get the images within a couple of days. I say, yeah, I'll get them to you. It's not a problem. It's part of the service.
And presumably with having so much control as you're dealing with professional people rather than a wedding, you're minimizing the amount of retouching and editing that you have to do afterwards.
Yeah. So again, yes, definitely. So I spend an hour, 2 hours max, and I do educate the clients even before they're booking me that they get a light edit and retouch. I'm working with a lot of women, so I don't want to be in a position where they're expecting me to make them something that they're not. So I do educate them up front. I'll say, you know, you do get a light edit or retouch. If you want more extensive retouching on your images, that is a chargeable service. Mm-hmm. So then if that happens, if I have a client, which I did have a client, she said, Jill, I love them, but my arms look really fat and da-da-da. And there was, so it's just an education process to say, well, look, which of the images you want me to work on? Let me get a quote from my retoucher, and then I just pass the quote on to them. And once they're happy, then I'll get the work done for them.
Cool.
Do you give them any direction on what to wear to avoid some of those as well?
Yes, definitely. So part of the process of designing the shoot, we'll have a pre-shoot consultation and it'll be on video call. So they're showing me their outfits and I'm actually saying, well, get into the outfit, let me see it. So I can see if it's going to work or not. And I'm giving them guidance. And also as photographers, we know how to pose people. You know, we know don't squeeze your arm in. We know the shape a woman should be. We know how to pose people. We've got that skill. Peter's so funny. Okay, so yeah, I mean, if this is a genre that you fancy trying, just go for it. I always say just believe in yourself. You've got the photography skills. As you start going on and doing more shoots, you'll learn from it. Don't procrastinate, just crack on and do it. The key is in your marketing, deciding who you want to target and then market to them. So getting to know, if you want to move into brand photography, who do you want to target? I've got students of the Business of Brand Photography Mastermind who've really niched down. A couple of them are targeting animal industries, so vets, stable owners, equine people. I've got another student of the course who is targeting personal trainers, so she's targeting all the personal trainers and fitness trainers in her local area. So she's getting a name for herself and a reputation as the go-to brand photographer for people in the fitness industry. You know, I've niched down into online female entrepreneurs. So it's about knowing who you want to target. And you can go quite wide when you first go into it. I did. But then you get a feel for who you've enjoyed working with, the type of business you've enjoyed working with. I've got one student of the mastermind, she's targeting more quirky businesses. So she's got a hat maker that she's done, tattooist, a crystal healer. So it's up to us to decide, and that's the beauty of it. We can absolutely decide. So know your ideal client, and then you can find out where to target them, where to market to them, the language that you need to market to them, where to find them, and how to attract them. And then I just want to say, guys, we can survive this time of crisis. And I honestly think brand photography is one of the genres that can help us. I'm still taking bookings right now. In the last week and a half, I've taken £3,000 worth of bookings. One of the students of my mastermind course has taken £2,500 worth of bookings in the last 3 weeks. One of them's taken 9 bookings in the last 4 weeks. People and businesses are still investing right now in this genre. And I also honestly believe there's going to be a bit of a gold rush, because the corporate people that are stuck at home right now, they're still getting paid. They might have an office job, they're stuck at home, but they're still getting paid. They are now thinking, I don't even like my job. I don't want to go back to work. I don't want to fight with the traffic. I don't like my boss. I don't even like my job. That thing that I had in my head that I've always wanted to do, whether it's being my own boss as a personal trainer, as a crystal healer, whatever it is, that thing I wanted to do, I'm going to do it now. Well, what does that person need? That person needs visuals for them to market and promote themselves. They need us. So there's that many new startups starting right now that are going to need our services, and they're booking it right now. The other way we're getting bookings right now is through virtual shoots. So we've been doing virtual shoots which is a whole other talk. But we've been doing these virtual shoots, which, yes, they're nowhere near as good a quality as a normal shoot, but you're giving a client a teaser, a taster of what you can do, of working with you, and then they're going on to book a full shoot for when we can actually get out of this.
I had a question, Gillian.
Yeah.
When they book for their 1 hour session or their 3 hour session, do you choose the images or do you let them pick and choose?
So they basically get everything, Morag. I wanted to design a business model for myself where I've taken out the bit where I put them online, you make your choices, I just thought, oh, sod it. I know I can create a beautiful bank of images, and I do create a lot of images. The 3 hours is a minimum of 150, and they just get everything.
Great.
It's just easier. It's easier for workflow for me.
Yeah, I like your analogy with wedding photography. I mean, that's what we do, don't we? So, it's, you know, we shoot what we think should be shot and give it to them. Yeah,
exactly. And the client, by the time the shoot comes, the client completely trusts you. You've got almost a friendship with you. They feel completely comfortable with your decision-making process because you've spent time together designing the shoot. So it is a lovely relationship you've got. So why try brand photography, guys? As I said in the beginning, for me, it's just been much better work-life balance. I've got my weekends back. It's midweek shoots. I'm earning 6 to 7K every month with my brand photography. The clients are business clients, so they're investing with ease. It's not a luxury, it's a necessity, and they are paying up front. And also with brand photography as a genre, it's nowhere near as saturated as babies, families, weddings. So you can be a big fish in a small pond if you get ahead of the game into this area right now. So I would just say get marketing, get promoting. You can promote and market to your existing audience, whatever photography area you're in. And at the beginning, I got a lot of jobs from my past wedding clients because a lot of them owned their own businesses. So the minute I started promoting and marketing myself to that audience as well as to new audience, I had a lot of old wedding clients come back to me and say, oh, Jill, I noticed you're doing this. I could do with knowing a bit more about that. So you can market to your existing audience. So I would just say go for it. Don't let anything hold you back. Start taking bookings and money right now.
I had another question, actually. What about makeup artists? I know a lot of brand photographers work closely with makeup artists. You don't seem to.
No, I made the decision quite quickly. I love to travel. So I can't, if I was solely working in my local area, I would probably go down that route of having a great relationship with a makeup artist, a hair person, and be recommending them and maybe having that as an add-on service. But because I'm traveling a lot, I wouldn't want to get into bringing my makeup and hair artist along with me because it's just palaver, isn't it? But I will talk to my client about, do you want to get your hair and makeup done? Have a look at who you want to use. Let's work it into your timing. So I'll give them that level of guidance. But if I was working locally, yeah, definitely have that as a collaboration because that's a lovely add-on service.
Yeah, thank you.
So the mastermind program I run, guys, if you've got any questions, just message me about it. As I said, I am running a 5-day challenge again in July, which is completely free, and it's just 5 days talking about brand photography and me sharing my knowledge and hopefully inspiring you guys to look at this genre because I absolutely love it. I hope you can take from the fact that I'm so giddy about it that I love it. It ticks all my boxes, and I'm happy to share with you anything about it.
May I ask you one last question, Gillian?
Certainly.
How do you market, where do you predominantly market, social media or your own website?
So I don't have a website, slap my hand. I use multiple marketing pillars. I think that for me has always been key across all of my photography. So when I say multiple marketing pillars, yes, I use social media, but I also use referrals. I have a lovely referral program, collaborations. I use sales funnels, lead magnets, email marketing. I do guest expert spots. So a lot of different marketing activities, which is going to drip feed my business with inquiries. I don't like being reliant on one marketing method such as social media because we don't control social media. So, you know, if Facebook blew up tomorrow and that's what you're reliant on for your business, you'd be in a bit of trouble. So I like having multiple marketing activities that I do rely on. A website is something I really need. I've not had one as yet, and I've just never got around to doing it. My business is doing really well without it, but I know I need one.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Over and out, guys, I'm done.
Unshare then, Gillian.
Here we go.
Nobody's asleep.
Yes.
I didn't think they would be. I didn't think anybody would be asleep after that. And she must have some questions for Gillian.
Hopefully I've answered most of them, but fire them at me if you've got any.
How many of your shoots are abroad, Gillian?
Most of mine now, I would say. So I've got 5 in the pipeline. Actually, 2 are in this country and 3 are abroad. But when I look for all the ones I've done from the beginning of this year, they've all been abroad, and I love it. I absolutely love it. And you can just fly in the morning. It's only a 3-hour shoot, and fly home in the evening. So it's not like you have to be out of your home or away for days on end if you don't choose to.
You mentioned before virtual shoots. Sorry,
yes.
What is that?
Oh my God, it's just a revelation. So it's basically using FaceTime. I'm in my home on my MacBook. They're in their home using their iPhone. And we FaceTime, and then I just press the white button that it magically appears, and I'm taking shots. And it's, from a photographer's point of view, it's a bit like, are you winding me up? The quality's gonna be shocking. And as they're loading up, I have my photos already open on my laptop, so you can see as I'm, obviously you're directing the client, and as you're taking the shots, they're loading up and they look absolutely shocking. The composition's right, and I've directed my clients towards a lovely area of light, but they look super flat and horrible. But by the time you've done a little bit of edit on them, a retouch, they are perfectly acceptable for social media. And what it does is it helps you form a relationship with a potential client. It gives them a teaser and a taster of working with you, of having a bit of fun with you. It's literally 20, 30 minutes. They've got a selection of images for their social media all there. And then most of them want to then go ahead and book another shoot. If I can pull up another screen, I'll show you some of the images, because I was absolutely astounded by the quality. Was all right. By the time I did a little edit on using Photoshop or Lightroom, they were all right. With virtual shoots, you are controlled by the internet connection, the light that is available obviously in the client's home, and also the quality of their phone camera. So let me just get some up and I'll show you. Can I just share the screen again, Alan? Is that all right?
Yeah, carry on.
Gillian, you're doing screenshots of their screen. You're not photographing with the camera.
No, I'm not screenshotting. When you FaceTime a client from your MacBook, it's much better with Apple. If you work on Apple, you've got Macs, they've got an iPhone, then you're fine, you're happy days. If it's Android, it can be a bit hit and miss. But basically, from my MacBook, I am FaceTiming the client. And when you've got them on FaceTime, there's a little white button appears in the bottom, and you're just pressing that button. It's so easy. Right. From a photography point of view, we're used to like up and down, running around. I'm sat on the bottom, and it's a whole new experience. It's really weird. It's really weird, but it works as almost as a. So sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, that's just me shouting. I didn't realise.
Oh, I thought you were shouting at me.
No.
So these shots here that you can see the girl holding the oil in the purple. Can you see those?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're all on FaceTime.
Brilliant.
That's just unbelievable. So, I mean, you'd never use them for website, you'd never use them for printed materials, but for social media, they're absolutely fine. There was one I did that wasn't particularly fabulous. There we go. This Hello World with the lady in the blue, her internet connection was shocking, so they were a little bit pixelated. This lady's here, hers were okay. this lady's were probably the best I've done so far. They were amazing. I was quite frightened I was cannibalising my own work, to be fair. Never mind. Most of them, I'm using it as a lead magnet, so most of them are then going ahead and booking a full shoot.
Yeah, you can see that. Enjoyable, ladies and gents?
Really good.
Yeah, definitely very good.
Very interesting.
Question, Alan, if I may. What's your conversion rate, Gillian?
So from inquiry to booking, my conversion rate when I started was 40-50%. Now it's 70-80%.
Okay.
Because I think because I've niched down, and also most of my inquiries are coming through where they've seen me in multiple areas already. They might have been on my email list, they've had a recommend from someone, they've had a referral, they've seen me in a business group doing a talk on branding. So it's those multiple touch points. So by the time they reach out to inquire with me, I think they've already made in their mind in their head.
How long have you been doing it?
2.5 years now. 2.5, 3 years.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sorry, Alan.
Peter, you keep asking the questions. I just want to know what you were doing when we couldn't see you because Gillian kept laughing at you.
He was, when I was talking about posing and moving his arm, he was doing this.
My arm like this, which is not good, but it is fine.
Yeah, that's our normal Peter.
I've got top-down light, which is not good.
Yeah.
Shocking.
Yeah. Hoss would be so upset with you, Peter.
Fixed it.
Any other questions for Gillian, ladies and gents?
No, perfect, thank you.
No, good.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Thanks so much, Gillian. Lovely to see you.
Oh, it's lovely to see you too. You're welcome. You're absolutely welcome. I love talking about this area. I could talk about it till the cows come home. I love it.
You're brilliant at it, Jill. I love seeing your images.
Thank you.
You are so good.
Anita came and assisted me on a shoot, didn't you? It was.
I was the customer. With
you pretended to be the customer, didn't you?
I recognised the pictures, but I didn't say anything.
Oh, love it.
It works, doesn't it?
It does.
It's just amazing. Just moving vases of flowers and candles and having an eye for colour and knowing what goes together. Brilliant. Really enjoyable.
And I think, as Gillian said, all of those that have done wedding photography and certainly photography, you know, you're already partly trained for it, aren't you?
Yeah.
So the eye is already there. So
we're used to doing all those detail shots and everything, aren't we? And of course, we never do them in any other genre, do we? You know, it's just weddings.
Exactly. It's that, you know, as a wedding photographer, you've got 5 minutes with your bride and groom, and you're like, right, I need this, I need that, I need the shoes, I need the flowers, I need this, I need a different angle. And it's that speed in which we're working, as well as getting detail shots and the storytelling elements. I think that is what comes into play with my brand photography, definitely.
Can I make a recommendation? That we don't all go to B&Q together to get strips of wallpaper.
Social distancing.
You've got to be 3 wallpaper strips apart.
Going back to what Jill was saying about them listening to what she says, the lady I went with Jill to do the shoot, they'd even moved the bed out of the bedroom. That's how much she listened to Jill, because she wanted that room to do the shoot, and they didn't have a lot of room. And I just couldn't believe this double bed had been moved out.
It was when we did the consultation on FaceTime, and she was showing me around her home, and we were looking at where the light was. And obviously you've got to be gentle. You can't say, well, that's rubbish and you need to move this and move that. You just guide them and saying, well, the light's actually much better there. So in an ideal world, that's where we would use. What do you think? And that's where she then said, well, that's fine. I can just get my husband to move this, that and the other. So yeah, it's and that shoot worked out really well. She was a lovely lady, and she was over the moon.
Lovely. It was. Yeah.
Poor husband.
Yeah, it's a good job Helen's not watching this.
No, she isn't. She's out somewhere, so I'm safe. I'm safe.
Oh, funny.
Right then, ladies and gentlemen, if you've got nothing else to ask any questions of Gillian for, I just want to thank Gillian so much for coming on and explaining it all to you. Underneath the link or above the link that I've put up today, Gillian's put a link to her course. I think it'd be really, really good if you're interested in doing this to go on Gillian's course, get involved with Gillian so that she can help, if she's willing to help you all. And it is, you know, it is good that there are people out there that are willing to help. And I just want to thank you so much, Gillian.
Oh, you're so welcome. Absolutely. And if any of you guys, you know, if you get off this call and you think of any questions, just put them in the group or message me. I'm always happy to answer any questions. Not a problem.
Thank you.
Brilliant.
Oh,
Excellent.
thank you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for listening.
Lovely for coming on, Gillian. Nice to speak to you, everybody. I'll put later this afternoon. If anybody wants to. Yes. Everybody wave. Everybody wave. Bye all.